Chapter 4, The Disagreement. Silly Grace, look at me for goodness sake. I am precious. And when you're precious, boys automatically bring you lots of Valentines. They just can't help themselves. She twirled all around. I am the cutest girl in room 9, Grace, she said. I am way cuter than anyone else. She giggled and pointed. Even you. After that, Grace did a little frown, because that hurt her feelings, I think. I tapped on Lucille. Yeah, only Grace is the nicest, Lucille, I said, and so maybe boys will bring her lots of Valentines, too. Lucille did a huffy breath at me. But I'm richer than Grace, Junie B, so that is another reason to bring me more, she said. I thought for a minute. Yeah, but Grace can run faster, I said. So, said Lucille, my hair is longer, and boys like long hair. I looked at Grace's head. But Grace's hair is springier and curlier, I said, and that is cute as a button. Lucille made squinty eyes at me. But I have a big screen TV and a pool, she said real loud. That's how come me and Grace leaned our heads together and we got in a huddle. Finally, I looked up at Lucille. Okay, here's what we came up with, I said. Grace can whistle through her teeth, plus she can wiggle her ears, and also she can dribble a basketball through her legs while she's running. Lucille jumped up and down. But I have a pony, she hollered. I patted her, very sympathetic. Sorry, I said real soft. Grace has a snake. After that, Lucille's shoulders got very sagging, and she sat down in the grass, 'cause boys love snakes better than anything. Pretty soon that Grace sat down next to Lucille, and she put her arm around Lucille's shoulders, and she patted her. 'Cause guess what else? Grace is a good sport. Chapter 5. Valentine's time. Valentine's Day came on Friday, and guess what? My Grandma Helen Miller bought me a special Valentine's outfit, and it matched my heart antennas very perfect. That day at school, I skipped all around room 9, 'cause I was a treat for the eyes, I tell you. Finally, I sat in my seat, and Mrs. took attendance, and guess what? Nobody was absent, 'cause who wants to miss a party? That's why. After attendance, Mrs. put on a special Valentine's apron. It had a big heart pocket in the front. Then Mrs. filled the heart pocket with Valentine's cards from the box, and she delivered them to all of the children. And wait till you hear this. The very first Valentine was delivered to me, to Junie B. Jones, and it said my name on the envelope. Yahoo! I shouted, real thrilled. I'm the first again, Mrs. Yahoo, Yahoo! After that, Mrs. kept on delivering cards until the whole Valentine's box was empty. Then all of us got to open our cards, and it was as fun as a birthday party, I tell you. After Lucille finished and opened her Valentines, she called Grace to her table. Come here, Grace, come here and bring your Valentines. Then you and I can count our cards, and we'll see who got the most from the boys, she said. Grace came over. She smiled kind of nervous. Well, here we go, she said. Then Grace put all of her Valentines in front of me and Lucille, and she counted them one by one. Pretty soon, Grace wasn't smiling anymore. Rats, I knew I shouldn't have come over here, she said. Grace grinned a teeny bit. Why, Grace? How many did you get? You have to tell me, Grace, how many? Grace did a big sigh. I only got 17. I only got one card from every person, and that's all. No extras. Lucille's face lighted up very bright. She flipped her hair all around. Gee, I'm sorry to hear that, Grace, she said. Well, I suppose I could count mine now. And after that, Lucille counted her cards in front of me and Grace. She counted them right out loud. 13, 14, 15, 16. All of a sudden, Lucille stopped counting, because there was only one more Valentine left in her pile, that's why. She quick stood up at her seat, and she looked all around herself. First she looked under the table, then she looked on top of the chair and all over the floor. Also, she looked in her pockets and her backpack and her purse. Finally, she sat down real upset. I don't understand, she said. How could this be happening? Every day my Nana tells me how special I am, but 17 Valentines isn't special at all. 17 Valentines is the same as everybody else. I did a sigh. Nanas, I said, you can't believe every word they say. Grace looked cheerier. Count yours, Junie B. Count your Valentines and see if you got 17, like Lucille and me. Of course I got 17, silly Grace, I said. Everybody in the whole room got 17. It was the rule, remember? After that, I put all my cards in a pile, and I counted them out loud, just like Lucille. I did a frown, and then I counted them again, and even again, because guess what? Somebody broke the rule, that's why. I sprang out of my chair. All right, people, who didn't send me a Valentine? And don't try to deny it, because I've only got 16 cards in my pile. I pointed a finger at Meanie Jim. Was it you, Mr. Huh? Are you the meanie head who didn't send me one? I looked around. Or maybe it was you, Mr. Polly Allen Puffer. Or you, Charlotte, who I didn't actually know your name. Or you, Roger. Or... Just then, Mrs. swooped me off the chair. Do not stand on your chair, Junie B., she said. And please don't fight about Valentines. If someone didn't send you a card, it was just a mistake. No one would do something like that on purpose. I'm sure of it. After that, I sat back down in my seat and I looked at the woman very curious, because Mrs. is a nice teacher, but sometimes she doesn't understand children at all. Chapter 6. Bingo. I put my head down on the table because I need to figure out who didn't send me a Valentine. That's why. I thinked and thinked real hard. Then all of a sudden I springed up. Lucille, I think of a plan. I think of how to find that guy. All I have to do is see the names of who signed my Valentines, because whoever is missing is the person who didn't send me one. Lucille looked admiring at me. That is very smart of you, Junie B., she said. You should be on cops. I know it, I said. My head is as sharp as a tack. After that, I got all of my Valentines in a pile. And me and Lucille looked at the people who signed them. We kept track of their names very good. Only too bad for me, because 7 of the Valentines weren't even signed. Darn it. I said, now what am I supposed to do? Just then I saw Mrs. hurrying to my table again. Junie B., I have some good news for you, she said. Guess what? I just found at the bottom of the Valentine's box. I sat up real quick, because guessing games are my favorite. Of course, a meatball, I said. No, Mrs. did a frown. No, Junie Bean, why would there be a meatball in the box? Think about it. What have people been putting in the Valentine's box all week? Valentine's cards, I said real smart. Right, she said, and how many Valentines did you get today? 16, I told her. Yes, you were missing one, weren't you? And so what do you think I found at the bottom of the box just now? This time I thought my hardest. A meatball, I said. Mrs. rolled her eyes up to the ceiling. Then I looked up there too, but I didn't see anything. Finally, Mrs. pulled a giant envelope from behind her back. No, this, Junie B., she said, this is what I found in the bottom of the box. I found this big envelope, and it's addressed to you. My mouth came open, very shocked. Then, all of a sudden, I clapped my hands, very thrilled. Hey, wait a second. Here, maybe this could be my missing Valentine. Mrs. looked funny at me. Bingo, she said, kind of soft. Yes, I shouted, bingo, bingo, bingo. After that, I jumped up and down, and I danced all around, because nobody broke the rule after all, and that was very nice of them. After I finished dancing, I opened up the envelope, and it was the most beautifulest card I ever saw. It had lace and hearts all over the front, and a purple ribbon was weaved all around the edges. Look, Mrs., look, look. It's a mushy gushy kind. I always wanted one of these. Who sent it, huh? Read me their name, okay? Who sent it? Who sent it? Mrs. opened up the card and looked at me. She laughed out loud. Well, 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 looks like you've got yourself a fan, she said. She ruffled my hair. This card is signed from your secret admirer. I raised up my eyebrows. Huh? What? Who? Mrs. smiled. A secret admirer is someone who likes you very much, but he's too shy to tell you, she explained. I guess your Valentine's Day turned out pretty good after all, she said. Yes, my Valentine's Day turned out almost perfect, I said. Now all I have to do is figure out who my secret admirer is, and I will be in business. After that, I put my head on my table and I closed my eyes, because I needed to think of another plan, of course. Chapter 7. Wink, wink. Another plan did not come easy. I thinked and thinked for a long time. Finally, I tapped to my bestest friend, Lucille. Want to help me, Lucille? Want to help me figure out my secret admirer? Lucille did mad eyes at me. Just because you have a secret admirer, it doesn't mean you're prettier than me, she said, very annoyed. I looked surprised at her. I never said I was prettier, Lucille. It's just that someone in room 9 loves me a little better than he loves you, and I keep on wondering who it is. Lucille leaned close to my face. It's a cuckoo head boy, that's who it is, she said. After that, she scooted her chair to the end of the table and she turned her head away from me. I did a mad breath at that girl. Keep acting like that and you'll be sweeping your own castle, I said. After that, I looked all around room 9 and guess who I saw? It's Crybaby William, that's who. Crybaby William sits right behind me, and he is the shyest guy I ever heard. So maybe he might be my secret admirer. I spinned around in my chair and waved at him. Hello, shy boy, I said real cute. William looked nervous at me. What do you want? I wrinkled my nose very darling. Yeah, only you don't even have to be shy of me anymore, William, because I think I know your secret, I said. After that, I put my chin on his table and I winked my eye at him. Only I'm not actually good at winking, so I have to say the words. Wink, wink, William, I said. Wink, wink, wink. See my eye? See how I'm trying to wink at you? William's face started to sweat. Turn around, please, he said. I did a giggle, because that admirer boy was shyer than I thought. You are a silly sausage, William, I said. Then I tried to tickle him under his chin, but William swatted my hand away. I tapped my fingers on the table. Okay, here's the thing, William. Swatting my hand is not actually that admiring, so please do not do that again. After that, I tried to tickle his chin again, but this time he ducked under the table. I did a frown, because something did not seem right here. Finally, I bended my head down and peeked at him. I'm going to take a wild guess here, William. You're not actually my secret admirer, are you? No, said William. No, no, no. After that, I did a big sigh and I turned my chair back to my own table. I looked all around the room 9 again, and guess what boy I saw next? I saw Polly Allen Puffer, that's who, and he is always teasing me, so maybe he is my secret admirer. I zoomed to his table speedy fast. Wink, 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 Polly Allen Puffer, I said. Wink, wink, wink. What's wrong with your eye, he said. I puckered up my lips and I blowed that guy a kiss. Thank you for the beautiful Valentine, Paul. Polly Allen Puffer looked strange at me. Paul? Who's Paul? What beautiful Valentine? My Valentine was the one with the oozy slime monster on the front, he said. Don't you remember it? Just then I made a face. 'Cause I remembered it, of course. I hurried up back to my seat again. That's when I saw a boy named Ham, and Ham hardly even knows me, so he was worth a try, I think. I quick went to his table. Okay, Ham, I'm running out of patience here, so listen very careful. I faced my eyeball at him. Wink, wink, okay? Now, are you my secret admirer or not? And please tell me the truth or you will be sorry. Ham sticked out his tongue at me. Also, he put his thumbs in his ears and he flapped his hands up and down. Alrighty, I said, I'm going to take that as a no. After that, I went back to my table and I sat down real frustrated. I put my head in my hands very glum, because guess what? Finding a secret admirer is not as easy as it sounds. Chapter 8. Who knew? Pretty soon the bell rang for recess. I hurried over to my friend Grace, because maybe she would help me find a secret admirer. Both of us skipped outside to the playground. Then all of a sudden I stopped real fast, because I accidentally left my beautiful Valentine on the table, and I didn't want anyone to take that lovely thing. Wait, Grace, wait here. I will be back in a jiffy. After that, I ran fastest back to room 9, and guess what? I spied that meanie Jim at my table, and he was picking up my beautiful card. Hey, what do you think you're doing, mister? I yelled real loud. And then I zoomed to my table, zippity quick, and I yanked that card right out of his mitts. After that, I started running to the door, but meanie Jim springed in front of me, and he held up his hand. Stop, he yelled. Don't take that Valentine outside. If you take it outside, you'll get it dirty. I made squinty eyes at that boy. No, I will not get it dirty. And anyway, it's not your beeswax, Jim. Jim stamped his foot. Yes, it is my beeswax, Looney B. Jones, he yelled. The card costed me a whole month's allowance, and I don't want you to get dirt on it. As soon as he said it, he quick put his hands over his mouth. But I already heard his words. I did a gasp. You? Jim? You are the one who bought me this card? I asked. Why? How come? Is this some kind of meanie boy joke? Jim started sputtering a real lot. Yes, I didn't buy that card. It looks like it costed a lot of money. That's all. And whoever bought it spent a whole allowance on it, I bet. I kept on staring at that boy. 'Cause something smelled like fish here, that's why. But if you're not the one who gave me that Valentine, then how come you're acting so funny, Jim? I asked. And how come your words are sputtery and nervous? And how come your face is reddish and blotchy-ish? Just then, Jim clunked himself in the head. Darn it, I knew I'd ruin it. I always ruin everything. No, everybody in room 9 will know that I like you, and I wanted it to stay a secret, he said. All of a sudden, my face felt so happy. You like me, Jim? You really, really like me? 'Cause you never acted like you like me. And so since when do you like me? That's what I would like to know. Jim's face got a silly look on it. I've always liked you, he said real quiet. I just act like I don't like you so nobody will know that I like you. I looked confused at him. But if you like me, how come you always call me names? I asked. Jim shrugged his shoulders. Because you call me names, he said. I did a big breath. Yes, Jim, I know I call you names. That's because you started it first, I explained. No, I did not, he said. You started it first. I shook my head. No, Jim, you did. No, Junie B, you did, he said back. No, you did. No, you did. No, you. All of a sudden, Jim raised his hands in the air and waved it all around. I called on him. Jim, I said. Maybe we both started at Junie B, he said. Maybe we both started calling each other names on the very same day. Just then, I started to smile, because that would be fair of us, I think. After that, I skipped around him in a happy circle. On account of this was a nice development, I grabbed his hand. Hey, Jim, let's go tell Mrs. that we're friends. Want to? 'Cause she will get a kick out of this, probably, I said. But all of a sudden, Jim plopped down on the floor, and he wouldn't even budge. I stared and stared and stared at the top of his head. Okay, this doesn't actually seem like that good of a start for us, Jim, I said. He looked up at me. I know, but I can't tell the teacher that I like you. I can't tell anyone. If I tell people, it will ruin my everything. I wrinkled my eyebrows. Everything like what? All my friends will know I like girls, and that will be embarrassing, he said. Plus, room 9 won't ever be the same again. I didn't understand. Why, Jim? Why won't it be the same, I asked. Because it will be dull and boring. That's why, he said. Because if I like you, if you like me, and we like each other, then I won't tease you anymore. And if I don't tease you, then you won't tease me back. And that means you won't shout silly, funny stuff at me that makes people laugh. He rocked back and forth on his feet, very bashful. You make room 9 sparky, he said, kind of quiet. After that, he smiled very cute, and he poked my arm with his finger, and he made a very sparky sound. Zzz, 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 he said. I laughed very loud, and I sparked him right back. Zzz, zzz, I said. And so guess what? Then me and that silly guy started chasing each other all around room 9. And we kept poking and sparking. And it was one of the funnest games I've ever heard of. Only too bad for us, because all of a sudden we heard a noise at the door. Oh no, it was Mrs. She caught us in the room. Hey, what's going on in here? You two are supposed to be on the playground, she said. Me and Jim stopped very fast, and Jim looked nervous at me. 'Cause he was afraid I would tell his secret, I think. All of a sudden, I pointed to him kind of mad. It's his fault, Mrs., I said, 'cause Jim poked at me and made a sparky sound, and then I had to poke him back and make a sparky sound too. Only he couldn't let that be the end of it, and so pretty soon we were chasing and sparking and chasing and sparking. Only just now you came into the door, and so the chasing and sparking are over, apparently. And so we will just be on our way to the playground, I believe. I tapped on her. Pardon me while I get by, I said, very polite. Mrs. rolled her eyes in the way back of her head. Honestly, you two, it's Valentine's Day. Can't you get along for just one day, she said. After that, she took us by our hands, and she marched us outside. We waited for her to leave. Then he looked at me kind of shy. You did good, he said. Thank you for not telling my secret. I smiled at that nice boy. That's okay. Thank you for the mushy gushy Valentine, I said back. After that, I faced my eyeball at him. Wink, wink, Jim, I said. Wink, wink, wink. And guess what? Jim pointed his eyeball right back at me, and he winked very perfect. After that, we runned off to play with our friends, or else people might think we like each other, and that would ruin everything. That is how come I never ever told anybody about Jim's secret, not even my bestest friends Lucia and Grace, because Meanie Jim is the biggest secret admirer I ever had. And guess what else? Room 9 is still saying Sparky. Junie B. Jones smells something fishy. Chapter 1. Pet Day. My name is Junie B. Jones. The B stands for Beatrice, except I don't like Beatrice. I just like B and that's all. And guess what? B rhymes with P, and P stands for pet, and pet reminds me of what happened at school today. First, I was sitting at my table doing my work. Then, all of a sudden, my teacher, Mrs., clapped her hands and she stood up. Her name is Mrs. She has another name too, but I like Mrs., and that's all. Boys and girls, may I have your attention, please? She said, I've got some very exciting news. Next week is National Pet Week, and to help celebrate our wonderful pets, Room 9 is going to have Pet Day. I springed up out of my chair, real thrilled. Hooray, people! Hooray, hooray, hooray! We're going to have a pet day, I shouted. My feet skipped all around the room, because they wanted to spread the news. That's why. Pet day, we're going to have a pet day, Charlotte, I hollered. Pet day, we're going to have a pet day, Jamal. Pet day, we're going to have a pet day, you meanie Jim, I hate. Just then, Mrs. grabbed my hand and grabbed me by the spenders. Spenders is the grown-up word for the straps that hold your pants up. I looked around very worried. Yeah, only here's the problem, I said. If you pull off my spenders, boom, then my pants fall down. Mrs. did a frown at me. Sit down right now, she said, real scary. I did a gulp. Will do, I said. Then I hurried back to my seat, and Mrs. went to the front of the room again. She told us all the rules about Pet Day, and she said that Pet Day will be next Monday. And if you have a cat or a dog, you can bring them in his picture. And Mrs. will hang it on the bulletin board. But please, boys and girls, no cats or dogs at school, okay? The only animals you can bring to school are pets in cages. I springed up again. Whew, that was a close one, because I have a dog named Tickle, and at first I thought I could only bring in his picture, and now I will bring him in a dog cage. Mrs. shook her head. No, Junie B., I'm afraid you didn't understand. No dogs or cats will be allowed at school at all, not even if you bring them in cages. I'm going to decorate a special bulletin board for all the dog and cat pictures. I hanged my head real disappointed. Shoot, I said, because a dog picture isn't even fun, that's why. Just then, my bestest friend named Grace waved her hand in the air. Can I bring my goldfish, Slicky? She asked. Is a fishbowl the same thing as a cage? Mrs. smiled. Yes, Grace, a goldfish will be just fine. After that, my other bestest friend named Lucille raised her hand too. Teacher, guess what I'm going to bring? I'm going to bring a picture of my new pony. And also I'm going to wear my expensive new riding outfit. That way everyone will see how cute I look when I ride. Mrs. stared at Lucille a real long time. What a treat that will be, she said finally. Lucille poked me with a finger. I can't wait for Pet Day, can you, Junie B? Just wait till you see how cute I look in my riding boots. She said. I didn't say anything back. She poked me again. Pet Day is going to be fun, don't you think, huh, Junie B? Don't you think Pet Day will be fun? Don't you? Don't you? Just then I leaned in real close to her face. Do not poke me one more time, and I mean it, I grouched. What is so fun about bringing a dog picture, huh, Lucille? What is so fun about that, huh? After that, I put my head on the table, and I covered up with my arms, and I didn't come out till school. Chapter 2. The Secret About Twitter. Me and that Grace rode the bus home together. I did not speak to that girl, because she kept on being happy about Slicky, and so what kind of crummy attitude is that? I walked to my house real glum. Mrs. Helen Miller was babysitting my baby brother named Ollie. Uh-oh, it looks like someone had a bad day at school, she said. I raised my hand very weakish. Me, Grandma, it was me. I am the one who had a bad day. After that, I gave her a paper from my teacher. It was the rules about Pet Day. Grandma Miller put Ollie in his swing. Then me and her sat on the couch, and I waited while she read the paper. Oh, dear, she said. You can't take Tickle, can you? I shook my head real gloomy. Not even in a cage, I said. I did a sad sigh. Where's the justice here, Helen? I asked. Grandma smiled very understanding. Then she gave me a hug, and she said, "Don't call her Helen." "I don't know what to tell you, sweetie," she said, "unless you get another pet before pet day. I guess you're just going to have to accept this." My eyes started to cry a teeny bit. "But Mother and Daddy won't buy me another pet, Grandma, because I already asked for a bunny and a goat and a bat and a rat." And they kept on saying, "No, no, 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 no." Grandma read the rules again. "Wait a second here. Why didn't I see this before? It says you can bring a bird." "Yeah, so you can take my canary," she said. "I'll let you take Twitter." I looked and looked at that woman. Then I patted her hand very nice, and I whispered a secret in her ear. "Yeah, only here's the problem. I hate that dumb bird," I said. Grandma Miller looked surprised. "You hate him? You hate Twitter?" I showed her my finger. "He pecked at me, Grandma. He pecked at my finger. Remember that? And I didn't even do anything to that guy." Grandma Miller made squinty eyes at me. "You put a potato on his head," she said. "I would have pecked you too." I smiled, kind of nervous. "It was a hat," I said real soft. After that, me and Grandma Miller sat there, kind of stiffish, and we didn't talk for lots of minutes. Finally, I tapped on her. "Do you have any other pets at your house?" I asked. "Any pets I'm not aware of?" Grandma Miller laughed a little bit. "Not unless we catch that crazy old raccoon that keeps breaking into our garbage can every night," she said. Then she laughed some more. And guess what? I laughed too, because that woman is a genius, I tell you. Chapter 3, The Boss. On Saturday, I got out of bed very thrilled. Then I run to the garage, and I grabbed my daddy's fishing net, and I zoomed right into the kitchen. Mother was eating cereal. "Mother, Mother, guess what? Guess why I have this fishing net? Guess, 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 guess." I couldn't wait for her to guess, because today's the day I'm catching that crazy old raccoon, I shouted. Mother closed her eyes. "No, Junie B, no. We already talked about this, remember? We discussed the raccoon at dinner last night." I smiled very happy. "I already know that. I know we already discussed the raccoon." Mother looked confused. But Daddy and I said no, Junie B. We said you could not catch a raccoon. Remember, raccoons have sharp claws and teeth." "Yes, of course I remember. That's how come I got this net, Mother. See how long this handle is? Now it'll be safe from him." Mother spelled the word no. N-O, no, she said. I stamped my foot. Y-E-S. "Yes," I said back. "I have to, Mother. I have to catch a raccoon for pet day. Grandma Miller even said I could. And she is the boss of you." Just then, a miracle happened. And it is called my Grandma Helen Miller walked right into my back door. Mother looked up. "Oh, look, it's the boss of me," she said, kind of grouchy. I runned at my grandma, very happy. Grandma Miller, I'm so glad to see you, because Mother said I can't catch a raccoon, and so now you have to make her." I stood back to give her room. "Okay, go," I said. Then I waited and waited, but Grandma didn't say anything. "Okay, go," I said louder. Only just then I saw something that made me even happier, and it's called Grandma Miller was wearing her fishing hat. My eyes popped out of that thing. "Hey, Grandma, hey, you're wearing your fishing hat, and so that must mean you're going to the lake today." I quick ran to the front door. "Is Grandpa Miller going to the lake with you? Is he out there on the truck?" I looked outside. "Hey, he is! Grandma, he is out there in the truck." I opened the door. "Grandpa Miller, hey, Grandpa Frank Miller, good news. I can come to the lake with you, I believe, because there's lots of raccoons to catch up there, and even more than at your house, probably." I zoomed back to the kitchen. "Here, Grandma, hold my raccoon net, and I will put on my clothes and be back in a jiffy." Jiffy is the name for Speedy Quick. Grandma Miller grabbed me by the PJs. "No, honey, wait," she said. "I'm afraid you can't come with us today. We're meeting some friends, and we're already late. We just stopped by to borrow your daddy's ice chest." Just then, I felt very crumbling inside. "Yeah, only I have to come, Grandma," I said, "or else how will I catch a raccoon today?" Grandma Miller bent down next to me. "Yes, well, you see, that's another thing, sweetie, about the raccoon. I was just kidding when I said that, Junie B. I never dreamed you would take me seriously." Just then my nose started to sniffle. "Yeah, well, you dreamed wrong, Helen," I said. Grandma Miller hugged me real tight. "Oh, come on now, don't cry," she said. "There are lots of other animals you can catch for pet day. Animals that are much nicer than raccoons." I shook my head real fast. "No, there are not either, Grandma Miller. You were just saying that to trick me," I said. Then I stood there a real long time. Because what if she wasn't tricking? And what if there was really lots of other animals? Finally, I did a big breath. Okay, tell me the other animals, but this better be good. Grandma Miller did a smile. Wait right here, she said. Then she ran out to her truck and back again. She was hiding something behind her back. Junie B, I've got someone who would love to meet you, she said. Close your eyes and I'll put him in your hands. My tummy got butterflies in it. What is it, Grandma? Will it tickle me? Will I like it? It won't bite me, will it, Grandma Miller, huh? It won't, right? Then I closed my eyes tight, and Grandma Miller opened my fingers, and she put the surprise right in my hand. Ooey gooey. Ew, yuck, it's a worm, it's a worm. Get it off of me, Grandma, get it off right now. Grandma Miller quick took back the worm. For heaven's sake, Junie B, what in the world is the matter with you? It's just a baby earthworm. Look how teeny he is. The little fellow would make a wonderful pet. I did a huffy breath at her. Yeah, only worms cannot be pets, Grandma, because pets have to have fur, so you can pet them, and worms just have ooey gooey skin. Grandma Miller looked surprised at me. Don't be silly, she said. Not all pets have fur. My bird Twitter doesn't have fur, and he's a pet. And goldfish don't have fur, and hermit crabs don't have fur, and lizards don't have fur. And I covered my ears with my hands. Okay, enough with the fur, I said. But worms don't have eyes or ears either. And they don't have legs or tails or feet or necks. And they don't chirp or bark or cluck or meow. So what kind of stupid pet do you call that? Grandma Miller thought and thought. Then she smiled real big. I'd call that the kind of pet that won't wake up your neighbors or sniff the company or scratch himself silly, she said back. After that, she stood up and she gave the baby earthworm to Mother. I'll leave this little guy with your mother for now. You can think it over and see if you want to keep him. I'll check back with you later. Then she kissed me on the head, and she grabbed the ice chest and hurried out the door. Mother looked at the baby worm in her hand. My goodness, you are a little one, aren't you? She said. She got an empty mayonnaise jar from the cabinet, and she poked holes in the lid for air, and then she put the baby worm inside. Mother looked at him in there. You don't even know where you are, do you, little fella? She said. I bet it's kind of scary in there all by yourself. I turned my back on her, because I knew what she was up to, that's why. You can't make me like him, Mother, I said. Nobody can make me like him. Of course not, said Mother. But just because you don't like him doesn't mean I can't like him. She talked to the worm some more. Maybe you'd be happier if some dirt to crawl around in. Let's go outside and see what we can do, she said. After that, Mother put on her jacket, and she went outside, and she digged in the dirt from her garden. Then she came inside and showed me the jar. It looked kind of cute in there. There was a rock and a stick and a dandelion and some clovers. I peeked at the baby worm. He peeked back, I think. Yeah, only I still don't like him, I said, kind of softer. I rocked back and forth on my feet. And anyway, even if I did like him, I don't know what worms eat. And so what would I even feed that guy? Mother ruffled my hair. Are you kidding? That's the best part about worms. They get all their food right from the soil. You don't have to feed them anything at all. Just then, my baby brother started to cry. Uh-oh, the baby's crying, she said. Here, take this. Then she quick handed me the jar, and she ran right out of the room. Chapter 5. Catching Friends. I watched the little worm very careful. He wiggled himself into the dirt. I tapped on the glass. Yeah, only here's the problem. Now I can't see you anymore. And so what's the fun of that, I asked. I took off the lid and put my lips in the jar. Come out, wherever you are, I said real loud. Then I waited very patient, but the worm did not come out. Hey in there, don't you even know I'm talking to you? Then all of a sudden my brain thought of something very important. Of course he didn't know I was talking to him. How could he know I was talking to him if he didn't even have a name? I quick closed my eyes real tight, and I tried to think of a worm name. Pretty soon my eyes springed wide open. Noodle, I said real thrilled. I will name you Noodle, 'cause noodles and worms are twins practically. I yelled in the jar again. Here, Noodly Noodle. Just then Mother peeked her head in the kitchen door. What's all the shouting about in here? She asked. Who's Noodle? I pointed to my dirt jar. Noodle is my worm, only he crawled away into the dirt, and now he won't come out, not even when I call his name. Mother looked in the jar. Maybe he's taking a nap, she said. Or maybe he's just exploring his new home. I tapped on my chin. Maybe, I said. Or maybe he might be looking for some friends to play with. Just then I did a gasp. Mother, mother, I bet that's it. I bet little Noodle is lonely in there. I bet he's looking for friends. I zoomed to the closet speedy fast and I put on my sweater. Hold on, little Noodle, hold on, because I can help you with this problem, I think. After that, I grabbed Noodle's jar and then me and him zoomed outside to the garden again. Friends do not come easy. First, I tried to catch a butterfly, but it quick flied away. Then I tried a grasshopper, but it wouldn't stand still. Also, I tried to catch a cricket and a gnat and a lizard, but those guys would not cooperate either. Finally, I sat down in the grass real glum. I am a flop at this job, I said. Only just then I saw something very wonderful, and it's called 3 ants were walking in the grass, and they were carrying a cheese puff on their heads. My heart got very thumping. Noodle, hey Noodle, I found friends, and they brought a delicious cheese snack. After that, I picked up ants and the cheese puff, and I dropped them right inside the jar. And that is not the only good news, because just then a big fuzzy fly landed right on my sweater sleeve, and I swatted him with the jar lid, and he did not even die that much. I put him in the jar too. Then I danced and danced all over my yard because Noodle had friends, and I had pets for pet day, and that is called Happily Ever After. Chapter 6. Sparkle. I runned into my house very thrilled. Mother, mother, I found friends for Noodle. I found the swatted fly, plus also I found 3 ants and a cheese puff. Mother looked at the friends. Oh my, she said, kind of soft. I know it, Mother. I know it. Noodle will love these guys. Don't you think? Don't you think he will love these guys? I said to Mother. She looked at me for a moment, and she thought about it. Yes, Junie B. Yes, I think that Noodle will love these guys. After that, I quick took the jar to my room, and I put it on my bed, and I waited for Noodle to meet his new friends. I waited the whole entire afternoon, only Noodle never came out. At dinner time, I walked into the kitchen very slumping. Noodle is still hiding, I said. Plus, the ants are the cheese puff, and Buzzy the swatted fly bit the dust. Mother lifted me into my chair. She put stew on my plate. Yeah, only how can I even eat stew? Because I am depressed, I tell you, I said. Then someone opened the front door. It was Grandma Helen Miller, and she was bringing the ice chest back. And guess what? There was a giant fish in that thing. My eyes popped out of my head. Grandma Miller, Grandma Miller, that fish is almost as big as me, I said, real thrilled. Grandma Miller looked proud of herself. It's called your largemouth bass, she said. He's a beaut, isn't he? He is, Grandma, he is a beaut. Look how shiny his skin is. Let's name him Sparkle. Want to, Grandma? Want to name him Sparkle? Grandma Miller laughed. Name him whatever you want, sweetie. We've got 3 more in the truck just like him. Come on, everybody, come see them. That's how come Mother, Dad, and Daddy went out to the truck, only not me, because I wanted to stay with Sparkle, that's why. I waved at that guy in the ice water. Hello, Sparkle, how are you today? I'm fine. Are you fine too? I patted his head. Want to swim, Sparkle, huh? Want to swim in the freezy water? After that, I got down on my knees, and I swimmed him all around. I wish you were my fish, Sparkle. If you were my fish, I would take you to school for show and tell, and then you would be the star of the show. And just then, I got goosebumps on my skin, because that was the bestest idea I ever heard of. Sparkle! Hey, Sparkle! Maybe you can come to pet day with me, because you are way better than my pet jar. After that, I lifted the big guy right out of the water. Only too bad for me, because Sparkle fell on the floor. Oh dear, you are a chubby one, Sparkle. And so how will I even get you to school? That's what I would like to know. Just then I saw Tickle's dog leash. It was hanging over the chair. I danced all around the kitchen. A leash, Sparkle, a leash. A leash is the answer to our problem. After that, I quick grabbed the leash and I put it over Sparkle's head, and then I pulled him all around the floor. He slided as easy as pie. Just then the back door opened. Junie B. Jones, what in the world do you think you're doing? It was Mother. She was back from the truck, apparently. I think I am sliding Sparkle, I said, kind of nervous. We were practicing for pet day. Mother shook her head real fast. Oh, no. No way, Missy. You are not taking that fish to pet day, she said. Yes, Mother. Yes, wait, I have to. I have to take Sparkle. I love this slippery guy. Please, Mother, please, please, please. Mother did some deep breathing. Then she sat down next to me and she made her voice not yet to yell. Okay, I want you to listen to me very closely, she said. I know you like this fish, and I know you would like to take him to school for pet day. But pet day is for live pets, Junie B. And maybe you didn't realize this, but the thing is, honey, Sparkle is dead. I nodded my head. Not a problem, I said. Mother did a frown. Not a problem? What do you mean, not a problem? Of course it's a problem. You can't take a dead fish to school. I raised my eyebrows at her. How come? Is it in the rules? I asked. No, of course it's not in the rules, said Mother. I smiled. Good. Then I can take him, I said. After that, Mother stared at me a real long time. Then she closed her eyes and she put her head on the placemat and she didn't eat her stew. Chapter 7. Sneaky Grandma Miller. Grandma Miller stole Sparkle. She waited till I took my bath, and then she sneaked into the kitchen, and she took Sparkle home with her. I runned all around in a tizzy. She stole him! Grandma Miller stole Sparkle, and nobody even stopped that woman. Mother said to quiet my voice. Your grandmother did not steal Sparkle, Junie B. She caught him at the lake. The fish was hers, remember? She picked me up and carried me to bed. You're just going to have to accept this, Junie B. She said, you cannot take a dead animal to school for pet day. End of story. After that, she kissed me goodnight on the cheek, and guess what? I did not kiss back. On Monday morning, Grandpa Frank Miller babysitted me before school. I did not speak to that guy, because he is married to the thief of Sparkle, that's why. I ate my breakfast very silent. Grandpa Miller looked at my pet jar on the counter. Boy, oh boy, look at those ants, would you? He said. They're always on the go, aren't they? He squinted his eyes at them. What's that they're carrying around on their heads? I did a frown, and then I thought very careful, because the chief's puff was already gone. So what could they be carrying? And then my eyes got big and wide, because I had a bad feeling about this situation, that's why. I run to the jar speedy fast. Oh no, I hollered. Oh no, oh no, oh no. It's Buzzy the swatted fly. I quick took off the lid. Put him down right now, and I mean it. The ants did not obey me. And that's how come I zoomed them out to the grass, and I shaked them right out of my jar. Go home, ants, I hollered. You go home this very minute. The ants went home. I brushed my hands together very proud, because I saved Buzzy, that's why. After that, I reached in the grass and picked up the jar, only something did not feel right exactly. I looked inside. Oh no, it was empty. All of the dirt was gone, and Noodle was gone. Noodle, I shouted. Noodle, Noodle, where are you? Where are you? Then I crawled all over the grass, and I searched, but I never saw Noodle again.